I've been stuck on the sidelines watching life. Same routine, just getting by. Skills on top, kicks passing by. Too much grind, not enough pay. I know there's more and I won't pretend. This is where the change begins. No more waiting, no more doubt. Right now's the time, I'm breaking out. No distractions, no excuses now. I'm locked in, I made a vow. From learning hands to earning plans, I rise, I build, I understand. The gate is open, I'm walking in. Through the gateway I begin. From learning to earning, I'm on my way. Turning my skills into gigs every day. We rise together, we won't break. Every move is mine to make. The gate is open, I'm stepping through. A better life in everything I do. New skills, new mind, new frame. I'm not the same, I've changed the game. From ideas to real results, turning my skills into paying gigs. I see the vision crystal clear. Opportunity is here. What I build is what I own. I plant the seed, I fully grow. No more doubt, I know my worth. I'm creating value on this earth. Step by step, I claim my space. Growth is now my daily base. The gate is open, I'm walking in. Oh, through the gateway I begin. From learning to earning on my way. Turning my skills into gigs every day. We rise together, we will break. Every move is mine to make. The gate is open, I'm stepping through. A dignified life, I'm coming through. Oh, oh, oh. This is my moment, this is my call. I stand up strong, I won't fall. Through the gateway, I claim my place. A future built by skill and opportunity.
Hi, everyone. Good morning, and welcome to today's session. Um, are you guys excited to be here this morning? Who is excited to be here? Oh, I see the chats. Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to today's session. Let me say hi to a few people and then we can jump right in. Chukwuike Cephas, good morning. Maybe we can just do something quick, which is something that you guys are used to us doing sort of in most of our sessions. Can we begin with a light introduction? Oh, Birdie Tech Skills seems to know how we roll already. He has gone straight into it, joining from Abuja, Nigeria. So let's have you guys share where you're joining us from. We already see your name, but if you want to identify yourself as something else, you can also share that as well. Um, so simply your name and where you're joining us from. Rulwanu Rabi Salisu says he or she is joining from Kano State. Fever Sunday says she's right here in Abuja. And how is the weather there? I am in Lagos, and over here it's been raining like cat and dogs for days. Like, I think it was only yesterday that the rain just gave us a bit of a break, but it's been raining non-stop. And I'm sure that for some of you who have been online, you've been seeing the news with the situation of the rainfall here in Lagos. So you can tell us how the weather is on your end. Is it sunny? Is it breezy? Is it just chill? Is it cozy as well? Is it giving, those weathers where you just stay home and wrap yourself and just watch movies? Is that what it's giving? So real quick, let's have that in the comments. Your name and where you're joining us from. We have Azizat Ajimobi. I hope I didn't order your name. Sorry. From Ogun State. Hi to you. Are they doing from Ibadan? Good morning, everyone. Okay. Adeyemi, okay, good morning. Okay, so as you guys know, this is the gig worker safeguarding session, And the idea of this session is to, intimate you on the structures we have in place, the risks, the threats, the red flags, and certain things you should look out for in the gig workspace as a consent safeguarding. But before we jump right into it, right, I will just do a brief introduction and we'll do a little bit of an icebreaker, and then I'll invite our speaker. Um, so I'll be talking about the Gateway program and CC Hub to just let you know what the program is about and what the company is about. My name is Chinayerim Chiku. I'm the Assistant Community Manager for the Gateway program. And this program is organized by Co-Creation Hub in partnership with the MasterCard Foundation. Co-Creation Hub is a leading Pan-African creative and innovation ecosystem enabler with a mission to accelerate the application of social capital and technology for economic prosperity across Africa. So at CC Hub, we are committed to accelerating the application of social capital and technology for economic prosperity across Africa. We do this by driving impact across three focus areas, which include education, health, and creative industries. And for the Gateway program, which this session stems from, is a 5-year program designed to equip 400,000 young Nigerians, especially women, persons with disabilities, and displaced youths, with the skills, tools, and opportunities to access dignified gig work. This program is happening across 10 priority states, which includes Abuja, Enugu, Delta, Edo, Kaduna, Kano, Lagos, Ogun, Oyo, and Rivers. In a bit, we'll be watching a video from our MD, where she'll be detailing more information you need to know about the Gateway program, and then we'll be back.
We do know that the world of work is changing globally, whether it is through the rise in artificial intelligence or the rise in remote work. The world of work is changing. And so I think what the world of work looks like and what a job looks like is changing. And so we need to prepare our young people for this new world of work that lets them be more dynamic in terms of the skills they have, but also in terms of how their time and their work practices are structured. For the Gateway program, we're interested in digital creative skills that can be delivered through remote gig work. And a lot of people think of this as a side hustle, and that's fair because it is work that you can do in your own time. It is work that you can do in your own space. But if you succeed at gig work, the demand for gig work is so high that it can be your full-time job, in that you will do multiple gigs in enough time that it takes the place of a full-time job. There is precarity in gig work. By precarity, I mean if you're not working, you're not earning. Nobody gives you leave, nobody gives you a pension, nobody gives you insurance. And so because of that, a lot of people think that it is not a sustainable pathway to decent work. But our logic is all of these things can be provided. We can design pensions that work for short-term remote work. We can design insurance, we can design savings, we can design loan products. And so the answer to that precarity is not to say don't do gig work. It is how do we as a society, how do we as a program design those social protections that build in some sustainability, some stability into gig work. And that's what the Gateway program is trying to do.
All right, so we're back, and in a bit, we're bringing up our safeguarding lead. We have a couple of speakers who will be speaking this morning. However, before we get into it, let's do a little icebreaker. And this one is something that I believe everybody can relate to. How many of you have been scammed? How many of you, or you know somebody who has, right? You know somebody who has, maybe they made a slight mistake, they weren't security aware, they just they didn't know the new method of these things, because it seems like these days you think you know all the stuff and then you hear, there's a new trick, or this is the route you are taking now. You guys open your eyes up and know what you are doing, that kind of thing. So how many people have encountered a situation where, how we say it's, you have been scammed, or you've heard news about it, or this can be digital, by the way. It can be digital situations, it could be in person, it could be a transactional thing. I would be waiting to see the responses in the chat. But in the meantime, I saw somebody say hi to me. I hope I didn't miss you. Rolwano. Hi, Rolwano. Um, so let's see your responses in the chat. How many of you have had? It's a sad one, right? It's not something to be happy about whatsoever. But how many of you have encountered it, or you have a family member or friend who has encountered such? Can I see your responses? Um, okay, it's yet to show now, but we're just going to give it some time. Rulwano says almost though. Okay. So it was just a slight one you escaped. Good for you. Who else? Who else? So Melody says, I don't know what you're saying. Sorry. Ojo Miloju. Ojo Miloju. I don't know. I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know. But I guess you can relate because your emoji says a lot, yeah? Um, Your emoji says a lot, so I guess you can relate. Anybody else? Anybody else? It's like you guys are um oh, somebody says it's a normal in Nigeria. Very relatable. Very, very relatable. Everybody knows this one. But I don't see as much responses as I would expect from the chat. I don't see as much. Should I take it that you guys have not been there, or you don't know anybody who has? Anywho, we'll be jumping right in. Somebody, okay, Sarah Silvana says, I've been scammed 3 times. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Again, just like Favor, I think, said earlier, it's relatable. Esther Adesonya says, I've been scammed once. Exactly, it's relatable. And for this program, we are saying, if we have set up structure to say, okay, we'll teach you, you will learn, and then we'll grant you access to gig work. We want to enable you know how to navigate that aspect, right? When you get to the stage where you begin to access gig work, what are the safeguarding measures that you should take into consideration? What are the risks and threats that even exist generally in the gig workspace, and how can you keep yourself away from it? What are the red flags you need to prevent yourselves, you need to take note of, rather, so that you don't fall victim of? And so to discuss this, we have Chinomso. Chinomso is our safeguarding lead. If you've joined, I think 2 sessions or one that she's done before, you'll be familiar with her. She does her job really well. She's not going to blow a trumpet, but I'll blow it for her. She does that job really well, and she'll be coming up now to, intimate you guys on what you should know and how you should navigate the gig workspace in a safe and secure way, so that your testimony will not be like what we see in the chats of people saying, oh, they've been scammed before. Because you know how they say it, once bitten, twice shy. So this is an opportunity for you to get familiar with what you need to do to stand out and not to fall victim again. So allow me to bring up Chinomso in a bit. But before that, could you take a moment to share this link with somebody who should be here? Again, I asked if you have been scammed or you know somebody who has been scammed before. So if you know somebody, just tell them that something is happening here that they shouldn't miss. And they should join ASAP, so that as they navigate the digital world and the remote work, gig workspace generally, they can also not be victims of, these scammers and fake job postings and all of that. We're going to get to talk more about it um, soon. But please share this link. We need to up these numbers, right? If something good has been noticed, it's great to also share it with other people, right? So they can be a part of it. Yeah. So Chinops will be coming up now, but let me just read this one from Jamil Mohammed. It says, someone chatted my mom up and said he wanted to help her with money. And at the end, she was shown a child who was very sick and needed treatment and was asked to donate for the child. We know this. We know this. Some of their tricks are familiar, some are new. But yeah, this is one of the scams that we see. But Chinom, so let me not keep you waiting again. Oh yeah, come and share what these people need to know about, navigating the gig workspace as a consent safeguarding. Thank you. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Inoyerin, for that introduction. And good morning again, everyone. Thank you for being here. So I'm not going to introduce myself anymore. I think the introduction by Chinoyerin was more than enough. Like she mentioned, we will be talking about a gig worker's safeguarding guide. Just how do you navigate the world of gig work safely? It might interest you to know that as a gig worker, right, a lot of us on the Gateway program, a lot of you enrolled on the Gateway program, this may be your first introduction to gig work. Some of you on the growth pathway, you guys are already seasoned professionals, so you have very good understanding of how gig platforms work. So we will be touching a bit around what you need to know around, your safety within gig platforms, within your work relationship with clients and things like that. Hopefully we all engage and you're able to also share feedback. So we'll proceed. So the first thing I would touch on is speaking on why safeguarding matters. Like Chinoyer mentioned earlier, if you were here at the last session we did, which was the safeguarding onboarding, we talked about what safeguarding is and what it means to Gateway. But just as a revision, can we get people in the comments, drop their own understanding when you hear safeguarding, especially within the Gateway program? What comes to mind? What does safeguarding mean to you? What does safeguarding mean to you? So, especially for Gateway, that's the question. When you hear safeguarding, what comes to mind? Comments? Anyone? We're still waiting. So let's get comments quickly so that we can move forward. This is just meant to be a refresher so that we have a good starting point to proceed with our session. Time's already fast spent. Okay. Yes, exactly. It's because we know we have some people that are new to gig work. This is why this session is very important. Safeguarding means staying safe. Thank you very much. Taking precautions. Okay, all right. Protection. These are very, very beautiful and useful inputs. Being careful. Exactly. So, measures taken to protect the workspace. I think I like this one the most. Exactly. So we're just going to actually move on from here. And thank you very much for your input and responses. Safeguarding means all of these things, and especially for the Gateway program, it is now how we would make sure that, our participants get to experience this program from their learning journey till when they are even linked for gig work and have a safe experience doing that. So everything is interconnected for Gateway. And it's good to know that a lot of you, it shows that you guys were in the last session and you still remember what we spoke about. So these are just proactive steps that we will be taking together with you to make sure that we have a safe community and we provide you a safe experience on the Gateway program. And the key thing to know is that when we do anything regarding safeguarding, we're doing it because we're trying to prevent or fight against abuse and harm. And this will be the key thing we'll be talking about in this session, informing you about how, abuse, risk, threats can occur, even as a gig worker. What does that look like? and helping you to navigate that space. Okay. So, some of the key reasons why safeguarding matters is that it helps to protect your right to dignity. Okay. That is one of the fundamental human rights that we all have as people. So everyone has rights to dignity, and it's part of what we embody as a value for the Gateway program. It also helps to make sure that everyone has equal access to opportunity. And this is also part of the things that has driven even our program approach for Gateway, how we work with our partners, making sure that everyone is going to be given equal access and fair treatment to opportunities. And then it also supports you to have the right to speak up. Very, very important. And we will be stressing on why it is important for you to speak up, especially as a gig worker, when you find yourself, either within gig work platforms or if you find yourself working directly with clients. So at the end of the day, these are just some of the key things that we'll be talking about. Just to reiterate, some of our key safeguarding standards for the Gateway program is that we have zero tolerance to all forms of abuse, exploitation, and discrimination on this program. And all of these are relevant to your learning and gig work experience for the program. So I would quickly would play this video just to serve as a reminder on how to report safeguarding on the Gateway program. I'm sure if you've been on the program since we launched or you joined, a lot of you would be familiar or must have noticed how to report on the platform. So on your dashboard, you would find report a concern button. And when you go to that button, you see this page pop up. So it has the category, the different types of safeguarding related issues you can report. I'm stressing this because we still have people using report a concern to report non-safeguarding related issues. We appreciate the feedback. But that is what the platform is meant for. And you're supposed to put the subject of your report and the message that you want to drop for us. This is like an instant messaging platform. It helps us to actually respond promptly. And, you can also attach evidence of your concern, before you submit your reports. Okay. And in addition to this, still within your dashboard, we have an additional option for you to whistleblow. So whistleblow is where you have the opportunity to make a report to our external reporting platform. So we have a partnership with Deloitte Nigeria. And just basically when you go to the whistleblowing option, you'd be able to make all kinds of reports, okay, outside of Gateway. So I would hand over now to Efosa for him to actually speak to us a little bit more about the blueprint of gig platforms. And we'll take it from there. Over to you.
Okay, thank you so much. I think that was a bit very mellow for us to actually understand what safeguarding is, because safeguarding is when you're trying to protect yourself from every form of risk, whether in the gig space, in your personal lives. You must understand safeguarding from a general perspective. And thank you so much, so for shedding light. And for everybody who gave their own understanding of safeguarding, someone said safety, someone said protecting yourself, someone said keeping in line with rules. Oh, fantastic. But then again, when we are talking about the context of Gateway, our entire agenda or the outcome we're looking at is for us to get gigs, for us to get work, for us to get freelance work, either on platforms like Upwork, Fiverr, or all the other ones that you are used to. Even if the gigs are coming from recommendations, from word of mouth, or from referrals, the agenda here is so that you can start earning money. And with earning money, with connection, with linking people to opportunities, come a lot of risk. First thing we want to understand here is what exactly is the gig ecosystem. Who are the main players we have in this ecosystem? How many parts do we have to it? And where exactly can the risks come out? Or where exactly can we find or encounter these challenges that we are trying to create safeguarding measures around? You should understand that in the gig economy, you have three major players. Number one, you have the platform operators, then you have the gig workers and the talent, and then you have the clients and people who are requesting for your service. What that means is you have, look at it like a triangle. At the top of the triangle, you have platform operators. So those are platforms that curate these gigs, post it, and where you can now sign up to now access these gigs. So on that part of the triangle, let's have the platform operators on one end. On the other end, you have gig workers and talent like yourself. So right now you are a major team, you're a major component of the stakeholder of the gig ecosystem. We have that component now, people who are providing their services, people who are providing their expertise, people who are providing their selling their talents. Then on the other part of it, we have um, people who are requesting for your service. So let's call this now, let's just nickname it between two of us, the triangle of the gig ecosystem, the triangle of gig work. Put it that way, the triangle of gig work. So if next time I come up and I ask you what exactly is the triangle of gig work, you should tell me these three simple things. Number one, you have the platforms that give us gigs, you have us who provide our services, and you have people who are requesting for our services. So, in understanding these three parts now, you must understand that with each part comes a certain level of challenge along the way. You should understand that when you encounter platforms, some platforms do not have enough KYC, either for people who are providing the talent or for those who are requesting for the talent. So the platforms on themselves can be exposed to safeguarding risks. Why? You can have either fraudulent people who are positioning themselves as talent, gig workers, or you have fraudulent people who are positioning themselves as clients who are requesting for the gig workers what services. So basically, you should understand this part as a gig worker. Again, I'm repeating it now for you to get. This is when you are dealing with traditional, conventional platforms. Traditional, conventional platforms. You are looking at, okay, I'm encountering somebody who posted up their services on, let's not use Upwork on Fiverr, let's use it, Tangerine gig platform. And I'm encountering someone who says they need a UI UX designer. And the person says they want to pay me $45,000 for my service. You should understand, not like they cannot pay you 45K, but then again, you would understand that because we're talking about a standalone gig platform, you can have safeguarding issues as regards fraudulent postings. You can also have safeguarding issues as regards non-compliance with payment terms. And like I said, these now we're talking about traditional gig platforms. But because the world of work is evolving and people are getting gigs now from non-traditional gig platforms, you should be able also to get that. There might be times where you are getting gigs from places like LinkedIn, Twitter, or even recommendations. So you should understand what exactly are the other risks that might ensue if I begin to get gigs from these non-conventional platforms. Okay, so let's look at platform operators. So they are the architects. Let's go back, please. Go back one slide. Thank you. So platform operators, they're the architects that design the algorithms, the infrastructure, and the entire terms of engagement. Like I said, they're the ones who build the entire infrastructure needed to connect gig workers and people who are looking for gig workers. The second part, there we then get to see what exactly are some of the roles that is expected from a platform operator. What is expected from a platform like ProDevs, which is one of our partners who we have on this call right now, who will speak to us later today. So one of the things you should get from them as it concerns safeguarding is you should get a protective policy that secures your data, that gives you safety tools, and at the same time, they've built it so much into their product architecture, and it gives enough transparency to resolve any issue, and it gives you a clear pathway as to how to resolve complaints, how to settle disputes, or how to even channel your grievances. On the part of the gig worker, like you, yourself now, and myself as gig workers, what exactly is expected of us to stay safe in gig work? We must understand that we are vulnerable to digital exploitation. people can request for your services. You submit your brief, submit everything, and then they jackbada. That's not how they say it. Yes, they leave and they run away with your service, and they do not get to pay. That's a clear risk again that you can see. So you must understand that you must put in your own safeguarding measures in line with the platform's policies to ensure that you on your own side you are protected and not exploited. And on the part of people who are requesting for your services, they can either be B2B or B2C. When we say B2B, we mean business to business. So they might be requesting for your service either to you as a company or to you as an individual. You should understand that you are expecting, or they are expected to have some form of safety features in place. They should understand vetting is essential. Community guidelines like ensuring the management of people in their space, people who are using, who they are reaching out to get this job done is essential. Vet them, protect them. When we say protect now, we don't mean with gun. We mean protect their inputs, protect their jobs. Do not exploit them. So if you get a job now on Upwork, for example, it's expected that the client on Upwork should pay you exactly when they want to pay you, when they have to pay you, and do not get to exploit you in any kind or in any form. Okay, next slide, please. Thank you. All right, so what exactly is the gig life cycle? Now, we've talked about the triangle of gig work. Now we're looking at, okay, so how do I start and end my entire engagement as a gig worker on a particular task? And how do I understand safeguarding from these four major perspectives? So the very first one here is we have onboarding and vetting. Under onboarding and vetting, right here, you want to identify verification, background checks, and capability measurements or assessments. So you go on a platform now. Let's use our platform Tangerine and Gig Work, for example. Now, the very first thing that's required of you is for you to get your onboarding, your KYC done, your registration done. All those things are important. Why? Because in following up with safeguarding standards, you should also understand that vetting is a key part of it. You should have your entire presence on any gig platform verified for you to stay safe on that platform, and for that platform also not to have a loophole to also exploit you or your service. Do you get? So when platforms put in KYC, like platforms that you'll be engaged with now in the gateway program, the very first thing you're expected to do on these platforms is KYC. Why KYC? So that we're here to ensure that people who are putting on these platforms, number one, have the capacity to deliver what they say they will deliver, have the experience or have the desire to follow through, and are not engaging in fraudulent activities on these platforms. The second thing, which the second part of the gig life cycle, is matching and negotiation. In this part here, the platform arranges gigs that align with your skills, and then you go there to look at the particular ones that align with you, that you are comfortable with. Click on that one, bid for it, negotiate with it, and then you get it. So right here, what we are looking at as a consent safeguarding is we want to eliminate bias as much as possible. How many of you at any point in time you might have tried to get a gig, and when you clicked on the gig, when you started the negotiation or you started the interview with the client, they found out that, oh, you're Nigerian, and all of a sudden bias just comes in. So the role of most of these platforms is to see how, as much as possible, reduce the openness to bias, reduce fairness, reduce also discrimination, because we're focused largely now on the gateway program, helping to ensure that women are getting into the gig economy. So you don't want a platform now who would then look at you now and say, oh, a lady, no, well, sorry, no. So what's expected here from the gig platforms is under the negotiation and the matching phase, they can pay commensurate remuneration as they'll pay to anybody delivering the same work. The third part of this is active task execution. That is now on you, the gig worker. It is for you now to execute what you've actually said you are going to do. If they said you should design a dashboard for something and you've done the bidding, you've gotten the job, you should deliver on your expected tasks. So how do you experience some safeguarding issues here? Remember, in this part here, you're also talking about contractual obligations. Nobody is going reaching across the screen to physically assault you. Nobody is reaching across the screen or getting your phone number to verbally assault you also. You must understand that reading within the fine print is as important also as a safeguarding concern. So execute what you need to execute when you need to do it. So you need to follow up, read clearly on the platform policy on protection for you while you're executing your task. Follow through. Do not share your work to to your clients in any way that will expose you and prevent you from willfully collecting your money at the end of the day. If you have established channels of communication, follow through that channel of communication. Do not work against it so you can also protect yourself at the end of the day. Now, the last thing there in the gig life cycle is post gig offboarding. What this means now is you have done the work. First, you've onboarded, you've gotten the job, you've executed the job. Now it's time for them to pay you. This is where people experience the most risks. Platforms would sometimes implement escrow. What exactly is escrow? Escrow means we would take what people call middleman in what we call middleman in Nigeria. So you get a job, I get somebody who wants to pay and who needs your service for the job. The person pays me, I hold the money in trust, and until you deliver the job. When you deliver the job, then we can now give you your money and give the person their job. So you must also understand that this part is where quarrel usually comes from most times when you're experiencing gig work. And the safeguarding concern here is you should understand your platform's payment policy before you even engage in that particular job. For example, if you've been doing gig work before and normally you will take 70% upfront, you necessarily cannot set your terms when it comes to some certain platforms. If you're doing it outside of the platforms, then you can set your terms. But if you're doing it in that platform, you must understand what exactly is the payment policy in this platform. You must understand that what exactly are my own does my payment terms support my payment facility? Does it support the platform's payment policy? Example, for a time in 2023, most gig platforms were not paying Nigerians directly to their accounts. So we needed domiciliary accounts to be set up by some fintechs to make that happen. You on your own, when you're going to a platform, you must look at what is their payment structure and do I particularly align with it. So in this short 2 slide presentation, I've been able to talk about the gig work triangle and also the gig life cycle. Understanding the risks that come with the gig work triangle, understanding the risks that are present in the gig life cycle, and understanding how you can also mitigate it as a gig worker. Know your place. You are a gig worker. Know how, when it concerns safeguarding, you've known that you're a gig worker. Next thing is you understand the client requirements, understand the platform you're operating with. If it's a platform that has their own policy, like a traditional gig platform, Upwork, Fiverr, TerraWork, and the rest, understand what their safeguarding policy is as well. But if it's outside of these platforms, you're getting your gig from Twitter, LinkedIn, or word of mouth, you should also then be able to set your own terms to ensure that you can set clear contracts and also protect yourself when payment arises. So you don't have issues with these two particular things. So you will not be scammed. Okay, so I think with this being said, if you have any questions, please drop them in the comment section. We would answer them as we proceed. But now I have to pass the ball back now to Chinam. So Chinam, so over to you.
All right. Thank you very much, Efosa, for that very detailed explanation. Yeah, so I think with all of the explanation Efosa has given, we will just quickly run over some of the key points that he has already made, just to touch on what you should expect working as a gig worker. So this was meant to be a quick pop quiz. I think Chinoyerim has already touched on this, but please, in the comments, let us know if you've had an experience as a gig worker. Have you ever had a client try to take your work without paying you? That is, you worked for someone and the person did not pay you. If you had that experience before, just type in the chat. Let us know. Is this something that you've experienced before? Yes or no? So let's see how many people here are actually, like, experienced in this with this situation. So I know earlier someone said it's normal, for scam to happen. That's not good. Not everyone in Nigeria are scammers. But let's know, have you been scammed maybe by a foreign client or even local? Okay, I'm seeing people say yes. Okay. How many more people have experienced this? Is this as common as we think it is? Someone said it's normal. So depending on the comments we get, that's what will let us know if, it's true. All right. So another question I would ask, in your experience as a gig worker, for those who have experienced it, what is the biggest red flag a client can show with the first message they send to you? So you can just drop just examples of what you think is a red flag, either from a job posting or messaging between yourself and a client. And I'm saying this because Efosa earlier said that jobs can be gotten not just from gig platforms, even from LinkedIn. Sometimes some of you may have been approached directly to handle like short-term gig opportunity. So are there some red flags that you've experienced before? Yes, I know some of you are new, so we're all trying to like learn from each other. So for those who are not new, those who have experienced it before, if you can share in the chat, that would be lovely, so that everyone gets to learn from your experience. Okay, so I'm still seeing some people saying they've not been scammed. If you say you've been scammed before, can you share what the red flag was? What the red flag was? Okay. All right, so I'll be waiting for comments, and maybe the admin will just pin the comments if we get any response to that question so that we can move forward. But I really want to get answers so that it helps us. So, just to help for those who have not experienced gig work before, some common threats that you should know about, especially within the gig economy. I think Efosa has already picked on it already. There are very, very common issues with fake job posts. So you can even have sometimes, you go to gig platforms. Let me not even say gig platforms. Twitter is a very good example, right? Um, People on Twitter would drop job posts sometimes and they will tell you, oh, okay, I can see a comment. Okay, so someone has commented, as an architect, someone asked him to design a plan. He did as he was told, and the person did not pay him, and the person decided to ignore his call. I'm so sorry about that experience. That must be very hard. And, this is the reality of working, as a gig worker or even as a freelancer. Things like this would happen. No work agreement signed exactly, inconsistency in terms and condition of contract, as well as breach of contract exactly. These are very, very good examples, and I really hope those who have not experienced this kind of work, learn and start to get familiar with some of these things. So as I was saying earlier, there are many examples of fake job posts. You find them online, Twitter, LinkedIn, job boards, and all of that. People would post jobs, and sometimes they would tell you things like, "Oh, in order for you to maybe complete a particular step or a stage of the application, you need to like pay a fee, advancement fee or something." Some of them I've even heard would even ask gig workers to maybe buy a particular course or buy a particular tool that they say is needed for them to complete that particular job or task. So things like that, if you see them, they are often very, very very obvious red flags that you should be mindful of. Okay, don't be in a haste to go and spend money to pay for a tool, pay for a course, or things like that because someone told you that you are guaranteed to get a job with XYZ amount. Unpaid work issues, very common, just like the examples that I read earlier. You completing your task and not being paid for the work. And this is also something that still even happens within gig platforms where there are obvious protections, right? So you can even sign up on a gig platform, you get clients, and sometimes you may even have clients asking you as a gig worker to go beyond what was agreed, like someone mentioned earlier. Some of them would ask you to give like very customized design, right, as a test. So things like that, they are obvious red signs, and these are things that we want people to be very much aware of before embarking on their gig work experience. We've also heard of stories of clients threatening to leave bad review to gig workers, and especially within gig platforms that can be very, very bad. If you get bad reviews, so some clients would even threaten that they would leave bad review on a gig worker if they are not able to do certain things for them. For example, if you have a client that is asking you to take on more tasks than what was agreed, right? And the client is maybe, for example, threatening that, if you're not doing this, they would leave a bad review for you. These are real life examples and things that people have experienced before. Having clients telling you as a gig worker to move communication offline or off the platform, and that is a very huge risk. In fact, more than 90% of scams, abuse, and fraudulent practices that happens within gig work usually happen outside of the gig platform. So if you have that kind of situation where a client is maybe giving you like a link for a Telegram group or WhatsApp or things like that, for you to have enhanced communication, please be mindful of them. I'm also saying this, as a caveat, that this does not mean that every single opportunity that may look like this is a scam. But we are also putting these caveats to let you know that these are also, things for you to be concerned about. Please do not be in a haste to take on opportunities that have any of these kind of signs or signals. And then workplace abuse and harassment. And just like someone had mentioned earlier at the start, when we were talking about what safeguarding means, someone mentioned it is protection from workplace abuse. Workplace abuse is very common, especially within gig work. It's now between you and your client, and you may have disputes and challenges sometimes in managing relationships with your clients. And subsequently, as part of the Gateway program, part of the things that we would be discussing on as part of this community awareness event is we will be talking about relationship management and how to establish or improve on that, because within that relationship management, this is where a lot of unhealthy, toxic practices happen. We've heard of examples of people taking on foreign clients, that are racist, racial tension exists. Even outside of foreign clients, local clients as well. We may not call it racism, but you're working with a client that obviously does not like you, maybe because of your ethnic or religious background. Things like that comes up even as a gig worker. Sometimes you have clients putting you under a lot of pressure with very unhealthy timelines. All of these things constitutes, workplace abuse and harassment, and we need you to be very, very informed about them. So I won't be talking too much about this, just highlighting some of the common safety measures and guardrails you will find in most gig platforms. Efosa did a good job going in detail about it. In terms of as a gig worker, if you find yourself in a gig platform, what are some of the checks that you will find. He mentioned KYC. That's the first thing. And as part of KYC, most gig platforms will require you as a gig worker to go through biometric verification. So don't be alarmed. By the time you get to the stage when you've completed, for those in foundation who are new to gig work and on the gateway program, by the time you get to the growth pathway and you are being connected to gig opportunities and things like that, don't be alarmed if you are asked to go through any KYC process or biometric verification. Most gig platforms also have background checks in place, especially for the clients, right? So for those who will be putting out jobs there are certain questions that they put to screen them, to make sure that the jobs that they are posting are legit, and to make sure that the company or organization that requires that service is legit. This does not mean that even with all of these guardrails in place, there are no risk or concerns. Scams are still happening every day. Escrow mechanisms. Fusa already mentioned that, and this is in terms of making sure that payment is made to the gig worker, and like matching it with milestones, just making sure that somebody does not run away with your money. And audit and compliance, this is also something that a lot of gig platforms have in place, to make sure that they also have the right kind of skill and mechanisms in place to audit any kind of grievance or complaints that they get. And reporting features, obviously, they are built into those platforms to make sure that if anything happens, people have a way to report grievances back to the gig platform so that they can investigate. Now, as a gig worker, what can you do to protect yourself from any kind of risk or threat on this gig platform? These are just a few that we're going to speak about. First thing first, please make sure you're familiar with the trust and safety rules within gig platforms. If you see anything that looks suspicious or feels suspicious, make sure you report them, flag them, use those reporting features on the platform. And for some gig platforms, they also give you the opportunity to leave a review on a client. I know that as Nigerians, a lot of us are averse to reporting or giving feedback. Please, it is for the safety of the larger community. Make sure you leave feedback and review clients as well, so that for the next person, they don't get to experience the same thing you have experienced. Okay. And then avoid sharing personal information through DMs, either on the gig platforms or outside of the gig platforms. No, do not share any of your banking information with anyone, even if the person claims to be a client. And before your payment clears, I think this one is also very relevant for a lot of the people on the gateway program. Graphic design, UI, UX. Just don't share any high resolution files with a client that has not completed payment. I think that one is more like a common sense approach with how we should work, right? These are just some things. The list is non-exhaustive. And if you have other suggestions on what gig workers should do to protect themselves from abuse and exploitation, you can leave them on the chat. We'll be reading them. I will just hand over very quickly to one of our partner. We have someone here from ProDev who is going to talk to us about their trust and safety mechanism on their platforms. I will just hand over to Efosa to speak just before we get the representative from ProDev to come online. We're still looking for the comments anyway. If you have suggestions on what steps gig workers can take to protect themselves, please drop them in the chat. We're still waiting for those comments. So over to you.
Okay. So I think we need to lighten the mood a bit more. So this is who I am on the gateway program. When you're done with learning and everything, I'm the one who you come and meet when it concerns getting gigs. Do you get? I'm not saying come and fight with me. I'm not sharing gigs, but I'm the person you will come and meet. So in that capacity, we've been able to partner with a couple of platforms, and one of them here is ProDevs. ProDevs is one of Nigeria's leading, not even Nigeria, Africa's leading freelance and gig workplace. And we've got a lot lined up with these guys and a whole lot of guys who we have on board. We brought these people on here because they have a special feature as it concerns safeguarding. They've been able to solve some of these problems, and we would have them on shortly. But before they come on, please, 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 we want you to share your experiences on chat. Let us get the answers to the questions we've asked, and let us know what you think so far. I believe he should be on now. Are we good? Okay, Confidence, are you there?
Yes, mic check.
Yeah, we're good, we're good.
Okay,
So
great.
I'll hand it over to you,
Hi.
Confidence, now. Take it away.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, hi everyone. I mean, a lot of what I had planned for you has already been touched. So I will just move. Yeah, this is the right slide. Just go, I think, slide 3. Because, yeah, okay, slide 2, please. Slide 2. Let me start from slide 2. So a lot have been said, and I think the question that was asked earlier about giving feedback if you've ever been scammed, say you've done work for a client and the client ghosted you or things like that, if it has happened to some of us. And I was reading through the comments and I see it's something that a lot of us have experienced, or a number of us have experienced. And also on the client side, there have been instances where clients would pay for a job to be done on some of these platforms or even on their DMs, and the client doesn't get the quality that he expects. So what are we doing as ProDevs to solve this problem? Well, we already know what the problem is, both on the client and the talent side. I believe most of our audience here would represent the talent side. So you are the ones who offer these services, be it graphic design, software development, or whatever service you are offering to your clients. And you would want to feel safe. You would want to trust that after you're done doing the work, you get your money or the compensation that was agreed. What we are doing at Prodex to solve this is quite simple. It's not a new idea. It's something that already exists, but we just enforced it to ensure that we protect both the talent and the client at the same time. Next slide, please. Right. So regular platforms will ask you to do 3 things. In most cases, they would ask you to verify your ID. I think that has been said already. On the client side, they might say put in a few details, and you as a talent might be asked to also submit a few credentials to help identify who you are, leave reviews and ratings, and then hit report if something goes wrong. But we've also seen that in most cases, these actions are performed after a damage has been done. So people these days, because I mean, when you're trying to apply for these jobs, you are competing with a lot of people. So if you've used, say, Upwork or Fiverr, you'd notice that the competition is a lot. So many times we don't pay attention to these details, trying to go through the reviews or comments, or even verifying if the client is real. So we just try to get the job, and get the job. And after we find something wrong with the process, maybe we've done a bit of work and then we don't get paid for it, we then go back to start reading the reviews, we then go back to start checking if the client was even real in the first place. But now we're trying to re-evolutionize how that works. In the next slide, it explains what we've done. So if you're familiar with the escrow system, that's what we've done basically. So what we do is, before a gig goes live on our platform, we have the client put proper details of the gig. We also have them break the gig into milestones, clear deliverables that would help both the client understand what they should expect and the talent who will be providing the service to understand the measure of work that needs to be done. And then there's an amount attached to every milestone that you get to do. And what we then do is we ask the client to pay for the milestone that they're ready to execute before the gig is published. This way, we protect the talent who would be working for this client. And on the client side as well, we safeguard the client. So when you as a talent goes on ProDevs, you see a gig, you like it, you get the gig and you're done. You simply click on a button to say, oh, I'm done with this work. There's a notification sent to the client telling them the talent or XYZ person is done with the particular milestone that he was asked to do. Remember, we already collected the money at the point where this milestone was published. So there is no fear that you wouldn't get your money when you're done with your work. Now, some might ask, what happens when the work is not up to standard or the client reviews and they're not okay with the results that you've put in? Well, the client has a period of time to dispute the work. So you have about 48 to 72 hours to review the work you've done, to give constructive feedback, to say, oh, I didn't like this about what you've done, and I would like you to make some updates. If they do not respond within this time window, we assume that they're okay with the job, and then we release the money to you as a talent. That way, even if the client should ghost, you are protected. So it gives both the client a level of safety and you as a talent who is a service provider, that same level of safety to ensure that you get the money for the job you've done. Now, in the event that a client disputed and say, oh, I don't like this, the result of what has been done, and you as the service provider are very sure that you have done the work as agreed, we have a human in the loop approach to this, where it then raises a ticket on our end, and then someone on our technical team, or depending on the kind of milestone you're working on, we have someone on the team to then come in and act as a mediator between yourself, who is the talent, and the client, to go through things, to look at the milestone, look at the work done, and to then decide if the client is um is right with the feedback they've given, or if the job was actually done as required. Once this resolution happens, it then helps to decide who gets the money, if the talent gets the money for the work done, or if they have to make some further updates to finally get paid for the job done. So this way, we ensure client gets satisfied with the quality of work delivered, and you as a talent who is coming on board, it also ensures that you have the money delivered, or you are paid for the work that you do. So this way, we have been able to reduce the amount of feedback or the amount of problems that comes up in this kind of situations. Um, yeah, I mean, if anybody has any questions up until this point, I would love you to just drop it in the comments. That way I'm able to respond. If there's any part of why I've said that it's not very clear. But yeah, we can move on to the next slide now. Okay, so I believe that'll be for the question and answers.
For that presentation, I was also like, taking in the information you were sharing as well. Yes, because dispute is something that, everyone should be very much prepared for. They will occur. When they do occur, you just need to know the right channels to use in settling whatever disputes that may occur between yourself and clients. So we just wanted to go over questions that you know we may have. I don't know. Can the questions be posted, if any? If you have any questions so far, that is related to this session, there is someone in the chat answering all other support related questions. So if you have any questions related to this session, please drop it in the chat so that. All right. So someone is saying, Efosa, have you experienced such quarrel? I think they are talking about disputes with a client. Have you experienced such quarrel before, and how did you escape it? Okay, we're going to get Efosa to answer. Are there any other questions? Are there any other questions so that we are going to be able to go through all the questions very quickly? So,
Quarrels. Ah, okay. Am I on now? If I've experienced such quarrels with a client, um, I'll say yes and no. Sometimes you have to take the L as school fees for your lack of due diligence. Some of these safeguarding risks, sometimes you might not come out at the end of it whole. So I think earlier on in my career, what I did was I was able to salvage as much as I could, and after that, I just abandoned it, took it as a learning for my next role, and then because most times you entered without searching properly or without looking properly, and you might not come out complete. So yeah.
thank you, Efosa. So I'm just also going through the chats. I don't know, is Confidence still online? I think yes, I can see some questions in the chat. Someone in the chat was asking about when a mediator steps in. I think in line with what you spoke about earlier, Confidence. When a mediator steps in, do they have to pay a specific percentage from your payment? So I think just in terms of maybe you can clarify in terms of what you were explaining earlier.
Okay, great. Okay, so we have a standard percentage that we charge for every gig you take on products. So that's a constant. It doesn't matter if a mediator comes in or not. So if a mediator comes in, it doesn't affect your pay in any way. It only helps to resolve the conflict between yourself and the client. So it doesn't affect your pay in any way. So just to answer that particular question. Um,
I hope this answers your question to the person who asked earlier. I hope this answers your question. How do I get through to Mr. Efosa? Okay. Yeah, I think that's up to Mr. Efosa to answer. But so we're just checking to see if there are any other questions related to this session before we drop off the call. We'll take one more question and then we'll call it a day. But again, would reiterate if you have any other question following this session, please feel free to actually send your questions to our support channel, support at gateway dot. Oh, okay. No problem. I think they're going to talk about that one. I can see one more question here. What if a client rejects the work and this was the best a gig worker could do or offer? Will we still be paid? I don't know. Confidence, are you still online? Maybe you
Well,
should take this.
this is a very interesting question, I would say. So I would want you to sit in the shoes of the client. So I asked you to build me an e-commerce website, and you only gave me a HTML version of it that's not functional, and you said that's your best. That's why we have a mediator. So the mediators are not novice. They are special. They are like professionals or senior developers if it's a technical role. So they would be the one to decide how close to the deliverable your work is. And depending on the decision they make, an action would be taken. So if your deliverable is not as close to what the expectation for that milestone is, then unfortunately you might not get a full pay, or you might not get any pay at all. So it all depends on what the examiner or the mediator in this case, after doing thorough assessment of the work done, um, looking at it side by side with what the milestone is meant to be at the end of delivery, they will be the ones to make that decision. So there's no one size fits all in this case. It's a case by case situation. So every case has a different approach and a different result to how things play out. I hope that answers your question.
In question. So I guess I would also say back to the person that answered, this is the reason why Gateway is also giving you the opportunity to brush up on your skill. So if you haven't been taking your learning seriously, please do take it very seriously, and beyond what is on the Gateway platform, try to practice to make sure that you are actually the best at what you offer. So we have another question directed to Efosa, and we'll just take this question and wrap it up. So over to you, Efosa.
Sorry, the question was not directed to Efosa. It was directed to Mr. Efosa. Please be very clear on that. Thank you very
Okay,
much.
sorry, Mr. Efosa.
Okay. Yes. When you get a job on Instagram, just know that you have to on your own put in your own standards, your own principles. Do you get? So when you are on a gig platform, you are at the mercy of the gig platform. They've put in the policies, they factored you in, they factored themselves in, they factor the clients in. That is on the triangle of the gig work. But now when you're getting a job directly, you are your own gig platform. So you have to put in your own safeguarding policies, which is why these sessions are important. You must understand what kind of challenges you are going to encounter, and then you should be able to arrange yourself like as if you are your own Upwork. So put in your own payment structure, your own payment terms, your own communication structure, your own communication terms. You are not at the mercy of the client alone. When they see that, they can now play on your naivety to then exploit you or shortchange you. Some of them can even pay you 4 installments. They've paid you 1 or 2, but because you are like the person who said you've been going back and forth with them on the quality of the work, you might just feel like now this one that I've got giving them, let me just give them, let them go, and you might forego your last tranche of payment. So then in that case, you must understand now that you have now taken 2 slots in that triangle of gig work. You are the talent, at the same time you are the platform. When you're getting jobs on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on word of mouth, anywhere that is not regulated as a gig platform, you then begin to act as your own gig platform. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for that response, Efosa. So I think confidence will just come in for a bit to add a little bit on the response Efosa gave. Confidence, over to you.
Right. Yeah, just to add to what Fosa said. So if you have a client who you found on any other social media platform, say Instagram, Twitter, wherever, we have a feature that allows you bring your own clients on board. So you come on ProDevs and invite the client to come over and say, oh, let's have this contract done on ProDevs. And ProDevs will then stand as the mediator for you. So in the event that the client is trying to be shady and things like that, we would be the mediator on your behalf to help you check the client to see if they're good enough, or if they're gig is genuine, and even collect the payment on your behalf before you start doing the work, so that both yourself and the client are protected since you are interacting with them for the first time. Yeah, just wanted to add that.
Yeah, so confidence, there's another question that came in, and I think you're the best person to respond. But I just wanted to say, we'll take this last question, and then maybe if you can also like tell people a little bit more about ProDev. There are a lot of people that are actually very curious about ProDev and your product and how they can find you. So someone is asking, what type of account should a gig worker have before he or she can receive payments on your platform?
All right, that's quite straightforward. So right now we are currently working on our own payment solution, but while that's still is still being developed, we're happy to accept different. I mean, you can use your PayPal, you can use your Rainest account, your Gray account, whatever foreign account, depending on the kind of client you're dealing with. So if it's a USD payment or GBP payment, you can come in with your foreign account. We allow that. If it's a Nigerian account, you can put in your Nigerian account number and we get to transfer the money to you. So we accept both foreign and local bank accounts. And then as an overview, so Predax is an outsourcing company as an umbrella. So we basically help to connect tech talent to clients who are looking for them. So a lot of clients in Europe, in US, and all of those other countries are looking for, or they are constantly looking for top tech talent in Africa. And we have a pool of over 15,000 of this talent. So we basically bridge that gap to connect both of them together. And in between that, we help to prep this talent for these jobs that they might be getting. We also run interview simulations, interview sessions. We have a number of tools that would help you prepare for interviews and also assessments that you might get as you apply for these roles. And in the middle of all of that, we also have a gigs platform that allows you to either bring your own clients, or we allow clients to also post their own gigs, and then talents are able to apply for these gigs, and we stand as mediators for them while they perform their duties. Yeah, so that's like an overview of what Predex does, both on the outsourcing side, the tools we have to help you get ready for jobs, and the gig platform as well. And the name
All
of the
right.
platform is ProDevs.
Okay. So thank you so much, Confidence. You have delivered a masterclass to us on this. So a couple of things, yeah. Number one, for those of you asking how you can reach me, it's very simple. Finish the platform. Finish your coursework. I'm the last person you will talk to on this thing. Don't worry, I have all your time. Finish it. Finish it, and then you can come meet me at the final stage where you start getting gigs. We call it fine gigs. Then we have noticed a couple of things. We have a session coming up next week for those of you who have finished the platform already and the coursework already. Some persons have already finished the entire gateway program. We celebrate you guys and we are rooting for you massively. For those of you who have finished it, please be reminded that there's a form for you to fill. Please fill that form. If you're on this session and you've not registered at all for the Gateway program, please, the link is scrolling now on the screen. Register now, gateway.cchub.africa. Send it to your friends, send it to your enemy, send it to anybody. If anybody has been asking you for urgent 2K, send them this link. Let them go and learn. Then we have a form right now going, feedback form. So for that, I'm going to bring my colleague who's going to wrap everything up. Down here, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Efosa. And thanks to all the speakers who have come up. Can we just take a minute to appreciate them? Emojis in the chat, W's in the chat. Let's appreciate Chinomso, Efosa, Confidence for taking the time to detail everything you guys need to know about safeguarding in the gig workspace, in the job market space generally, actually. So let's take a minute to show them some love in the chat, emojis, W's or GW's as we like to do. And just like Efusa said, we have a survey link. So if you think Confidence did a great job, if you think Chinomso did a great job, if you think Efusa did a great job, let them know by filling our form. Don't just get your answers and leave us. It's not cool. Do you get it? So just the survey link is in the chat. All you have to do is click it. Very short, straightforward, short, everything. Just fill it with your sincere opinion on the session, and probably you'll get to see a FOSA when you fill it. Probably. So take a moment to fill it up in just 2 minutes. 2 minutes. It won't hurt. I mean, we have given you guys more than an hour of our time. So if you give us 2 minutes, we are not asking for too much if you ask me. So take a moment to fill the form. Let us know your sincere opinion. You guys have seen it in the chat. Do you want to see a FOSA again? Please fill our survey. I know you guys want to see him again. He brought his vibes. So confidence, so much information, insightful, amazing. Like amazing is the least to describe what this session, was like. So show them some love by filling the form. And for our support channels where you can use to reach us, we have the support email, which is support@gateway.cchub.africa. Then there is the community email, which is for community specific requests and inquiries, which is community@gateway.cchub.africa. Now, if you have training related questions, LMS, curriculum, and the rest, we have training@gateway.cchub.africa. I've been seeing a lot of questions about voucher, stipend, everything. Those questions are learning tools and work tools specific. So if you have those inquiries, you can reach out to the team at Work Tools, work as in handwork, work tools at gateway.cchub.africa. Please use the appropriate channels for your support requests. Don't send work tools inquiry to community or to this or to that. But then, can I see those who have filled our form? Let's know those who are for us or against us. And thank you for the emojis in the chat. Thank you. I see somebody with I don't know, my colleagues here do this. I don't know what the hell this is, but okay. They say it's love sign or whatever. Korean heart. So back to you, Angela. I see love emojis. I love the excitement in the chat generally. So please, once again, remember to fill our form. Don't leave us alone. You'll be seeing my face and any other of my team members' faces in the coming sessions, but encourage us. Just 2 minutes is not too much now. Do you guys get it? Thank you. So we'll be wrapping this session in a bit. As I like to say when I'm wrapping my sessions, it hurts to see you guys go or to leave you guys, but we can't stay the whole day, right? We can't stay the whole day. Somebody is yemoing here, but let me not talk about it. So guys, we will be playing an outro right now, but fill our form. Thank you. We will see you on the other side. Bye-bye.
I've been stuck on the sidelines watching.
Concern or complaint, we want to hear from you, and this is how to reach us. Send your concerns, questions, or feedback directly to support@gateway.cchub.africa. Once your email is received, you'll get a response within 72 business hours. If something feels unsafe, wrong, or uncomfortable, you can report it right here in the portal. On your dashboard, click the Report a Concern button, fill in the form, describe what happened, attach any evidence if you have, submit. You'll get confirmation on screen straight away. This reporting channel is available only to registered Gateway participants. Reports are confidential and sent directly to our safeguarding team. You may also email safeguarding@gateway.cchub.africa. We also have dedicated addresses for training and community inquiries. We're committed to supporting your journey every step of the way. Are you a Gateway participant with a question, concern, or complaint? We want to hear from you, and this is how to reach us. Send your concerns, questions, or feedback directly to support@gateway.cchub.africa. Once your email is received, you'll get a response within 72 business hours. If something feels unsafe, wrong, or uncomfortable, you can report it right here in the portal. On your dashboard, click the Report a Concern button, fill in the form, describe what happened, attach any evidence if you have, submit. You'll get confirmation on screen straight away. This reporting channel is available only to registered Gateway participants. Reports are confidential and sent directly to our safeguarding team. You may also email safeguarding@gateway.cchub.africa. We also have dedicated addresses for training and community inquiries. We're committed to supporting your journey every step of the way. Are you a Gateway participant with a question, concern, or complaint? We want to hear from you, and this is how to reach us. Send your concerns, questions, or feedback directly to support@gateway.cchub.africa. Once your email is received, you'll get a response within 72 business hours. If something feels unsafe, wrong, or uncomfortable, you can report it right here in the portal. On your dashboard, click the Report a Concern button, fill in the form, describe what happened, attach any evidence if you have, submit. You'll get confirmation on screen straight away. This reporting channel is available only to registered Gateway participants. Reports are confidential and sent directly to our safeguarding team. You may also email safeguarding@gateway.cchub.africa. We also have dedicated addresses for training and community inquiries. We're committed to supporting your journey every step of the way.